Live from the House of LeMay Makeup and Dressing Room.
Here comes Amber. Stop what you're doing. Here comes Amber. She's just doing what she can. Here comes Amber. Cue the spotlight. Here comes Amber with 2 drinks in her hand. The matriarch of fashion, secret super glasses, you can't look away. Ask her, does she do it? There's really nothing to it. She's got that feminine game. If you have a party, or if you're feeling naughty, call up the House of LeMay. Here comes your favorite gal. Here comes your queen. Here comes the talk of town. It's Amber Live tonight. The music starts playing. It's time for cabareting on Amber Live tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, please turn off all cell phones and get ready for your host, Amber LeMay.
Hello, 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 and welcome to Amber Live. But you know what you got to do first? Share, like, subscribe, all of those things. You don't want to miss a thing from us here at Amber Live. But you know what time it is? It's time for tonight's headlines. Now, in case you didn't know, it's been cold here on the East Coast. And when I say the coast, I mean the whole friggin' East Coast, from minus 39 degrees in Cerda, Maine, to below freezing in Florida. Now, I'm Cerda, Maine, you're not surprised when the temps dip that low. But Florida? Bad things happen when things start freezing in Florida. Crops are damaged or killed. Uninsulated pipes freeze. And iguanas fall from the sky. Well, not so much the sky, but from trees. The National Weather Service issued a warning that Florida residents may stumble upon the strange reptilian phenomenon this weekend, which does happen during cold episodes. Iguanas are usually not dead when this happens. Instead, the cold-blooded lizards become dormant to protect themselves against plunging temperatures. Their joints become stiff, so they may lose their grip on branches, which can cause them to fall from trees. Anyone who comes across a frozen iguana is advised to leave it alone, as the creatures occasionally bite people while coming out of their frozen paralysis. Ooh. Do you do the do? Of course, I'm referring to the sugary, caffeine-heavy soda Mountain Dew. If your answer is, of course not, that's for skateboarders and snowboarders. Believe it or not, according to Beverage Digest, it's the 3rd most popular liquid refreshment brand behind only Coke and Pepsi. And sales of the brand could see a big bump with their latest evolved product, Hard Mountain Dew. Yes, Hard Mountain Dew, with the hard part being 5% alcohol. Now, in some ways, this move brings the drink full circle. The phrase Mountain Dew was reportedly developed by bottlers Barney and Allie Hartman as a whiskey mixer. Whiskey mixer, say that 3 times fast. Whiskey mixer in the 1940s. This new version is being created by PepsiCo and the Boston Beer Company, as it will be classified as an alcoholic flavored malt beverage. The addition of alcohol isn't the only difference from the original offering. Hard will contain 0 sugar and no caffeine. And if you're bored, Google Mountain Dew. Some related searches will answer the questions, why is Mountain Dew the worst soda? And is water better than Mountain Dew? And what's worse for you, alcohol or Mountain Dew? And finally, can Mountain Dew dissolve a rat? That answer may surprise you. Or maybe not. On Thursday of this week, West Virginia Governor Jim Justice brought a special guest to his State of the State address. It was his pit bull dog, Baby Dog. Baby Dog? Seriously? And apparently the governor can read Baby Dog's mind, because during the speech, he held the dog up, facing backward, and said, Baby dog tells Bette Midler and all those out there, kiss her hiney. Now, why would Justice, an owner of several coal mines, a billionaire, COVID survivor, and man who has been sued dozens of times for not payment of money owed, take on the two-time Academy Award nominee, four-time Golden Globe winner, and three-time recipient of Grammys and Emmys? Well, the divine one, Bet, not the Gov, is not one to be shy about expressing her opinions, and recently tweeted, "What Joe Manchin, who represents a population smaller than Brooklyn, has done to the rest of America, who wants to move forward, not backward, like his state, is horrible. He sold us out. He wants us all to be just like his state, West Virginia, poor, illiterate, and strung out." Whoa, those are pretty harsh words. Wondering if there's any truth to her accusations. Let's see. Well, overall, the Mountaineer State ranks 47th out of our 50, and coming in 47th in healthcare, 45th in education, 48th in economy, and last and least, 50th in infrastructure. Poor? Check. Illiterate? Check. Strung out? Check and checked out. And how did Bet respond? She retweeted this. "Here we can see a dog's asshole. Right next to it is the butt of Jim Justice's dog." And that's this week's headlines. All right, we can always count on Bette Midler to speak for us. Hey, Russell, come on in.
Hey, Amber, how are you?
I'm doing fine, Russell. It seems like forever since we've been together, but I'm glad we're here tonight.
We had a couple of pre-recorded weeks, so it's been quiet.
Yes. All right, so I know you want to tell everybody what's the best way to watch the show tonight.
I do want to explain that to them, and the best way is to watch on YouTube at youtube.com/AmberLive, because on YouTube, you get to see Amber in full HD, which we are streaming in, so you might as well go over there and see all the nooks and crannies. And don't forget about our TikTok and our Instagram and also our website if you're looking for even more Amber Live, because we've got different things in different places, so you'll get to see all kinds of things, not just the show.
Yes, it's good to see everybody checking in there. Yeah, one thing you want to check in on is Wednesday night we have our Amber Chat, and the people you're seeing and say hi there to each other, they're part of the Amber's crew. Amber's crew, not Amber's screw. But they've just become friends over the almost 50 episodes or 50 weeks that we've done the Amber's Chat every Wednesday night. So it's great to see you. Thank you guys, and we'll talk more on Wednesday. We talk about food, talk about pop culture. We talk about everything. So it's a great to stop in. Just about an hour, so come in if you can. And we had people from Florida, Tennessee, Montana, California, Washington, Newfoundland, Wyoming, Montana. Great.
We've had Japan and Australia.
And London, yes,
Yep.
we have. So that's a great time on Wednesday. All right, so Russell, now we'll talk about what you want to talk about.
You always blame me for this, but this is really important.
Yes.
The bustiers, these are the people that help us out. And as you remember, at the beginning of the year, I cleared off our bustier list, and which had become quite full, and we are starting over. And we had Karen and Ron Gephardt and Cleela Rorex pitch in and help us out, help us keep the lights on, Amber. And if you'd like to be a bustier, you can use Venmo at RJD Pro, or you can go to the amberlive.tv site and look for the support Amber Live button that you see there. And you can use your credit card there if you're not quite into the Venmo thing. If you give $25 or more, you get a sticker of our logo. $100 or more, a sticker and a magnet. And for $200 or more, I'll send you a sticker, a magnet, and a mug. And we do always want to thank all of our bustiers because they are very helpful. They're the people that keep this show running. So thank you all. It's vital to the Amber Live project. Thank you.
it was a year ago this week that Cleela Rorix was on the show. It was an episode with her and Dixie Longgate. It was a great show. Well,
It's an
Cleela
amazing
was
show.
a town clerk someplace in Colorado, and she gave these two guys a marriage license because she couldn't find a reason not to give it to them. And there's a great story that goes with it. So go back to the YouTube archives and check that out. But thank you,
Yeah, and
Cleela,
that
and
that
thank you,
happened.
Ron and Karen from Tennessee.
The
Yes,
the Cleela story happened back in the 70s, I believe, right? So she was
yes,
the
yes, it
first
did.
person in the United States to issue a marriage license to two men. So
Yes, yes. All right. So do we have a caption photo
we
this week?
do, and this one was requested by the person in the photo, so it's their own
Oh,
fault. Here it is, the caption photo for this
oh.
week. If you've got a funny caption for this photo, please send it in the comments, label it as a caption. Let Jack know, and then at the end of the show, we'll bring them up and talk about some of the funny captions that you come up with that.
Oh, I could come up with a few for that one.
Yes, Amber, they have to be a little bit clean.
Oh, no, no, not on our show. All right. Thank you, Russell. Now tell us about the guest tonight.
We have two amazing guests tonight, both from Chicago. We have author Owen Keehnen, who is here to talk about his books and some of the LGBTQ history of Chicago. And then we have playwright and actor David Cerda, who is here to tell us about what he does. And both of them are in the Chicago LGBTQ Hall of Fame. So
Yes.
you're dealing with Hall of Famers tonight, Amber.
Yes, yes. Plus, speaking of Chicago, we've got Amber's Attic with Dwayne Scott Searney, who's also going to talk about some Chicago architect from the 30s. And we've got Rocco and Pass the Tea with Emoji Nightmare, the RuPaul wrap up. So we've got a full
It's
show. So let's get to it. Let's get to
It's
it.
a full one. Have a great show.
Thank you, Russell. Talk to you later. Yes, our first guest from Chicago, as we said earlier, is David Cerna. So, David, come on in. Hello there, David.
Hi, Amber.
Okay, so good to see you. So, tell me about your theater company.
Well, Helena Handbag Productions in Chicago is the only theater in the city that specializes in the lost art of camp and parody and ridiculousness. Um, but we started not caring what actors play what gender, and that was because I wanted to be the leading lady. And that's that's how we started, and that's what we've gained a really loyal following from that. But we celebrate like pop culture and like old films and television shows, and we create our own things. It's sort of like a Carol Burnett show if it were a theater company.
And tell us some of the history of some of the shows that you've done. I know we've got some pictures. So, Russell, if you want to start running pictures, and David can talk to us.
Yeah, that's Christmas Dearest. That's one of our perennial holiday favorites, and it's basically a combination of A Christmas Carol and Mommy Dearest, and a Joan Crawford movie called Torch Song, which I'm sure you're familiar with,
Oh, of course.
where she's Jenny Stewart, the embittered Broadway star, and it's Jones playing the Virgin Mary in an MGM musical, and she's just horrible to everybody, and she's visited by three spirits to teach her, to show her the error of her ways. And I love being Joan. Oh, and
Of course.
that's me as Lucille Ball, 70s Lucille Ball. Here's Lucille Ball.
Yes, yes, I see
Ah!
it.
And that was part of a holiday show we did. Since we were in lockdown, we did the Rip Nelson Holiday Quarantine Spectacular. And Rip Nelson's this character we created that's sort of like a combination of Paul Lynde and Rip Taylor and Charles Nelson Riley.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, I think we can know which one this is.
I think you can guess what this is.
Yes.
We started this 4.5 years ago, and it's called the Golden Girls, the Lost episodes, and they're all original episodes. We do not take favorites and read them on stage. We create our own Golden Girl universe, And it's like the Golden Girls if they were a little dirtier and getting in weirder situations, and maybe there were consequences for Blanche's actions, or Dorothy and her mother really go at it. But it's amazingly popular, and we're really pleased to say we are going to be the Golden Girls at the very first Golden Girls convention, Golden Con, that's in Chicago this April. And it's so big they moved it to Navy Pier. And it's like all these people that worked on the show are going to be on it, and Zach and Bradley, who started it. I was just really honored to be asked to do it, and we're really excited about it.
Now, wasn't Betty supposed to be there? I had heard.
Well, she might have. Yeah, she might have. I'm not sure. They'd always like. Well, I think she might have was going to participate somehow, but unfortunately, she can't. I don't know if you heard she passed away.
Yeah, I think that was in my news feed once or twice.
Yeah, it was a shock.
One of the things about that I've learned recently is that the Golden Girls, when they first debuted, were younger than the Sex and the City girls are today in their remake. You know,
You're
isn't that
probably
amazing?
right.
Would I lie to you?
Well, it's really funny because now like 4 years ago, I felt like, oh, I'm too young to be I played Dorothy, and now
Of course.
I'm like, yeah, and now I do feel like I'm at the right age to be Dorothy, and I kind of am a Dorothy, and the people in the cast were all ensemble members, and it kind of fit, and the guy who plays Rose is amazing. It's beyond an invitation. He makes all these amazing choices, and we have a good time because I think people appreciate it because they're new episodes. Like,
so tell me about your current project, The Drag
we are
Seed.
doing a show called The Drag Seed, which was 2.5 years ago we did it. It's very popular, and it's a parody. It's based on The Bad Seed.
Yeah.
And it's about a little cisgender boy, Carson, 11 years old, who wants to be on RuPaul's Drag Race. He's a drag kid, and he will do anything to get that crown. And so, much like Rhoda in The Bad Seed, when Carson doesn't win the drag pageant at the school, he goes to great lengths to get the crown, which includes maybe hurting another classmate.
Now, how old is the person playing the drag kid?
Patrick, I think, is 23.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's young to me. That's a child.
He's a kid.
Yeah, we couldn't have a kid play that part.
No.
It's a little adult. And the landlord is an old former drag queen from Calumet City, Illinois, Miss Charles, and that's me on the upstairs. I was Miss Calumet City of 1980.
You did that 2 years ago in Chicago.
And yes, and somebody from La Mama saw it. La Mama in New York City.
Tell us more about La Mama for those who
La Mama Experimental Theater is like a legendary theater in New York that nurtured all these fringe theater. And one of the fringe things they nurtured is theater of the ridiculous with Charles Ludlam, and so we are going to be performing there, which is sort of like a dream for us. And it's going to be the first 2 weeks of April.
Oh, but how exciting!
Yeah. We didn't have to pay an application fee or nothing. We got
Oh, how exciting!
The last time we were in New York was when we brought our very first show, Poseidon, an upside down musical. And that went gangbusters. Really, it was very successful. here and at the Fringe Festival. So it only took 20 years for us to get back.
All right, we've gone through everybody else. What was that guy's name?
What about those people from Chicago?
Are they still alive?
Yeah. No, we 20 years in Chicago theater. We're really proud of that. And it's just, I don't know what else to do. And this is what I love to do. A lot of people think of camp as a bad word. Like, oh, I don't want people to think this is campy, or in theater particularly. And I'm like, why not? Camp is like one of the true gay art forms. And we started it. Mae West ripped gay people off. So camp was our secret language back then. And so I'm more than proud to be a big prancing sissy, dressed like a woman and be able to play Joan Crawford and
what's your character there?
I was a vicious lady mob boss. And it was a movie based on an old Betty Davis film called, it was the one where Bet's a prostitute and she gathers all the prostitutes together to fight the mob, the vicious mob that's leading them. And for some reason, since I'm on your show, I can't remember the name of the film, but that's from our show called Lady X.
David, I know, someone just said, does he know Ryan Landry? I was just going to bring that up because anyone who is watching you right now would say, oh my God, is that Ryan Landry? Not only do you have a similar appearance,
much younger,
you have a similar story and similar art form, And
I know Ryan Landry very well. Ryan Landry and I discovered each other a few years ago because we were writing about the same things. I wrote a musical about Carrie called Scary. So did he. He's tackled Joan Crawford. He's tackled our work is very similar. Ryan is a brilliant genius. I mean, I really got to hand it to him. When I went to Boston to see what he did, I stayed at his house. He stayed at my house. That was something for me to aspire to because I think his work is brilliant. And it's really strange because I think I mentioned this to your producer. There are pockets of us all over the country, little gay, campy companies that do Carrie, Joan Crawford. They do, we've done Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the Rankin Bass special. They do Poseidon, or it's just the same subjects. And I'm getting older, so I'm looking forward to seeing younger people do like Gossip Girl parodies or whatever movies they think, like Teen Witch, or well, sometime you and Ryan need to collaborate on a production. We talked about that.
That would be great.
We think we'd be perfect Hudson sisters.
Oh my God!
Can you see Blanche as Betty and me as Joan? Yeah.
Oh, I see it. Well, thank you so much, David. Stick around. We're going to have you come back and talk to our other guest, a friend of yours as well. So thank you. Thank you,
Amber.
Yes, bye. All right, and now a word from one of our sponsors.
Every time I go to visit Upper Beaver Gash, I always think, why don't they have great shops like we do down in Beaver Pond? Well, now you don't have to leave the safety of your home and risk getting that pesky Beaver 19. You can shop at the Amber Live store right off the interwebs.
And it's a better shop than Peggy's Plump and Proud. Oh, but don't tell her I said that. She's still giving discounts to the Beaver Pond players for the costumes.
I like the great products like the coffee cups I drink my morning coffee out of, or my evening beers if I feel like getting all fancy.
Down at B&B Fix-It Shop, we use large Amber Live beach towels to lay out on the grass every day at $4.20.
And don't miss the Rusty Bean collection for all your bean needs, dude.
Ditto on whatever he said. I just love their shirts and hoodies. Oh yes, that they have at the Amber Live store. Oh, they keep me so Cool in the summer and warm in the winter at the Amber Live store.
So shop at the best store in Beaver Pond, or better yet, stay on your couch, eat some pork rinds, have a beer, and order right now on amberlive.tv.
Our good friend Dwayne Scott Cerna, he's got a Chicago connection, and he wants to add to tonight's themed show. Bring it on.
What's in your attic?
Hi, Dwayne Scott Cerna.
Hey, Amber. I'm back in your attic. I didn't realize how many great Chicago memorabilia pieces you had up there.
Well, you know, I have been known to get around.
You have been. Oh, and here's what's actually kind of cool. I think people should know about. So Chicago is totally known for its architecture. Every famous architect in the world wants to have a building built in Chicago, but we've got a history of this because the whole city burned down in 1871, giving us a place to start. So people get confused. There were two fairs, one in 1893, that was the Columbian Exposition, and then the fair we're going to talk about today, which is the 1933 Chicago Century of Progress. And remember, the Depression was going on, bad times, people are bummed, and the city fathers wanted to offer something exciting, something positive, something optimistic. And this, when you start seeing the images I'm going to show you, it's really where the future began. I mean, this is Art Deco, futuristic, out there, and it would influence really the entire country because Chicago is really the first modern city. So, like I like to say, the future was yesterday. Russell, let's take a look.
Ooh, I like that.
Isn't that cool? So, and there's this kind of little skyline of the city just to give you a feel for the times. And then this next one, here's an actual postcard from the fair. And you can see the kind of this modern architecture that's got the skyline on the right and the Ford Motor Building. We can go to the third one. Okay, now this is cool. This is what I'm trying to show you. So this is a representation of the Federal Building. It was one of the, again, Art Deco buildings that was there at the fair. Okay, and then we'll go to the next one. And here's an actual, and here's a souvenir of that building that you could buy there at the fair, and you could either like drag it around with you all day, or they'd mail it to you, or they'd mail it to a friend. There's the back of it. So this is a cast metal souvenir building, which is kind of the theme that we're talking about. And people obviously collect these. These are really desirable.
Now, is that building still intact?
Oh no, none of this. This entire fair ran from 33 to 34. The only fair to make money, but then it was all torn down. So it was these were structures. Yeah, nothing's left except what I'm showing you today.
Okay.
Okay, we can see the next one. Okay, yeah. So this is like an official pictures, and this is a world's the Travel and Transportation Building. So it gives you a representation of what that looked like. That's the cover to a souvenir magazine. And then we'll go to the next one. That's what the actual building looks like as a souvenir. Now, this one, this is out of my collection. This is a lamp. So it's darn cool and really heavy, cast in aluminum. But they made smaller versions, and mostly they were like paperweights. And those are really, really desirable too. But if you think about it, building's gone. Maybe you can get a postcard, but otherwise you can actually see a physical representation of what the building actually looked like. And let's see the next one. Okay, go ahead, Amber. There's your direct. Run with it. This was the Haviland Tower Thermometer. This is an actual building, 200 feet high, and the letters were 10 feet high, so you can actually read the temperature from really like blocks away. This thing was enormous.
Yes. Checked your temperature, huh?
Well, and speaking of checks, how do we do this? Here's a mug from the Czechoslovakian Pavilion. Now, again, look at this building. This is 1933. This is really modern. This is Art Deco or Art Moderne. And there were a lot of pavilions for different either nationalities or organizations or whatever. They didn't have a souvenir building of this building. That was the closest I could get to find it. Something.
Now, do you know, was it a Czech architect who designed that building?
It was. There were a number of different architects that worked on different buildings. I did in my research, though, this will kind of tie into what we talked about last week. Frank Lloyd Wright was not asked to participate because he was so disagreeable and nobody wanted to work with him. Drew, Google it. I didn't know that. I always thought, where's Frank Lloyd Wright? Not here.
Very good.
Next one. And we're almost there. Okay, this is probably my favorite. This is really more of a fantasy architecture from the fair. This is when you put like all the buildings together, what would it look like? Kind of give you the skyline. This is a single bookend, and then we show you the next. This is what, see how it says 1934 on there? So there's actually a pair of bookends. Now this is Flash Gordon. I mean, how cool is this?
That and Batman, yes.
Yeah, you're right. I just rarely see anything. It's so modern. It's so futuristic. And again, 33. The last one is the Hall of Science. Again, this is a lamp, and this is very heavy. This thing probably weighs like 10, 12 pounds. Cast aluminum, but a representation of an actual structure from the fair. I think they made smaller versions of it. I haven't seen too many of them floating around, but kind of just gives you a flavor of architecture of the time and its influence on the future. And 2022, here we are.
Wow, very cool. Thank you so much, Dwayne Scott Cerny, at that look into Chicago's past, or the future of their past. And we want to thank you for arranging to meet our guests tonight as well.
Famous Chicagoans. I'm so excited. These guys are Hall of Famers. Incredible.
All right, yes. Well, thank you very much for arranging their interviews, and we'll see you the next time when you come out of my attic.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
What's in your attic?
Fascinating stuff from Dwayne Scott Cerny. But you know what else is fascinating? Did you watch RuPaul's Drag Race on Friday night? Well, if you did, you'll know what Emoji's talking about. But if you didn't, she'll catch you up. Take it away, Emoji.
Girl, that's hot. Hello, it's Emoji Nightmare. We are on episode 4 of RuPaul's Drag Race season 14. This episode starts off with Jasmine Kennedy talking a whole lot about herself and not giving really any room for anyone else to get anything in. This doesn't sit well with Cornbread in particular, who gives Jasmine a little lesson in how to actually have a conversation and not just talk for the sake of talking. The queens are told they are going to be creating super teases for this season of RuPaul's Drag Race, which is kind of great because we get to see we already kind of know their personality, and then we get to see how they're able to be comedic and act and sort of play into the stereotypes that they've already showed us in the first few episodes. The teams are split into 2 groups. Team Maddie, because she won the lip sync last week, and Team Willow, because she won the runway last week. Some great moments happen in the workroom. We learn about the bird watching. Carrie tells us about when she's out bird watching, she's looking for birds in gray sweatpants and otherwise. It's a hilarious moment, and one that I'm sure is going to stick around for years to come, now forever being known as bird watching. Lovely leisurely activity. We also hear Alyssa Hunter share her coming out story, which was also kind of interesting because she tells a story about how she was found looking at porn when she was younger, and her dad caught her and actually then disclosed that he too was gay. So they had this like mutual coming out story, which is kind of unique. And did anyone else think that not only is her dad a little like trade, but like also like the age difference seems pretty slim? It is the night of 1,000 J-Los. Jennifer Lopez pops in to say, hey, we're gonna have so many iconic looks, I'm sure. J-Lo is a fashion icon from late 90s all the way through to today. She's still slaying it in her 50s. So out the queens come on the runway, and we're seeing look after look be very close to J-Lo's original looks. Some of these are so accurately close to the originals. Actually, Carrie's is the original. She, I assume, bought the Versace dress that was not the original Versace from the early 2000s at the Grammys, but the comeback version on the Versace collection a few years ago. And stunning, the deep V, you gotta love it. It is her most iconic look. And really, while there's no real misses on the runway, I will say Angeria's was stunning, but I just wanted the fringe to start a little higher. And with Deja Skies, she it didn't look quite, it's the same style, but the pattern was a little different. And the judges did ultimately give her good credit for making it work for her and her body. When it comes to the challenge, the Super T's, we've got Team Maddie and Team Willow. Team Willow starts, and it is just pure shenanigans. Some standouts for me, Bosco, I think, slayed it. I think Willow's bitular bit was hilarious. Again, really kind of funny, kind of just like not really playing into any of the prior Drag Race drama and things like that that other queens kind of relied on. And just sort of kind of made her own little storyline. I think that was really creative, and it really, it worked for her. Over on Team Maddie, I thought it was a little bit more chaotic. There was a lot more going on. I think that ultimately, while it was still just as funny, there were moments that I didn't love as much. One of the standout moments that I enjoyed though was Angeria's, her ugly bitch. And of course, what's another episode without referencing Maddie being straight? I love any queen that can make the joke on reference to themselves and get away with it and actually do it and pull it off. So we're seeing Maddie kind of come into her own, and she's getting some credit for that, showing her personality. Ultimately, we find out that the tops of the week are Willow Pill, Angeria Van Michaels, and Deja Sky. I personally didn't love Deja's performance all that much. I didn't really love her runway, but I would have put probably Bosco in the top 3 personally. But hey, she ends up being safe, and it's down to Willow and Angeria again. They are in the top 2 week after week, and this week it is given to Angeria. In the bottom 3, we have Carrie Colby, Alyssa Hunter, and Cornbread. Not looking great for Cornbread lately, but I think we still haven't seen the best of her. I think she's gonna have a knockout performance. She is safe, and it's down to Carrie and Alyssa. I'm a little surprised with the bottom, but there were a lot of strong performances. So lip syncing to JLo's Play, the 2 battle it out. Alyssa's Money Gun malfunctions, doesn't quite do what she wants it to do, which is rain literal money. And there's Carrie in her literal Versace dress, who is ultimately told that she is staying. Alyssa reveals that she just has chocolate in this new chocolate candy bar twist. So she does indeed sashay away. Thanks so much for following me on Instagram and responding to my polls that I put out Fridays and Saturdays. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the participation because it makes this a whole lot more fun. Here is my ranking for the week. A lot of shifting changes here based on, of course, Alyssa going home. And just really, we're kind of seeing a little bit more of the versatility. In fact, they want more versatility out of some of these queens. They want Carrie to be uglier and grittier. They want Cornbread to show a little bit more of herself. And I think, like I said, I think we're gonna see this. Those are 2 of my top queens.
You're crazy.
I hate you. Get your own fucking show. That's it for me this week. I'm Emoji Namer. Thanks so much for having me, Amber.
Okay, Emoji. I will get my own show. Oh, love to recap. And I agree with her on some things. We're going to have her on live sometime so she and I can talk about the different contestants. Russell, come on in.
Hey, Amber.
Oh, I understand we're having some technical difficulties. I was in the
Yes,
black.
you're very fuzzy at the moment. I'm not sure what's going on. You might want
I don't know.
Can you quickly refresh your browser?
Refresh my well, I'll see you in a second.
Or make sure you're plugged in. Yep. I'd like you to we want Amber to look her best. So just hang on a moment and we will get her back. The fun of a live show, you just never know. Let's see. Here she is back. There, you're looking better. Let's put you over on your side.
All right. So, Russell, we have more coming up. We've got to tell us about what we have coming up.
Oh, my goodness. We have Owen Keehnen still coming up to talk with you about the books he's written and some Chicago LGBTQ history. And then we have the Ask Away section where both of our guests are going to chat with you for a while. And, of course, Rocco. And then Jack's going to come in to talk about the caption this.
Yes,
So,
show the caption. Show the
yes,
picture.
let's not forget that. Here's the picture for caption this.
Oh, my.
If you've got a great caption for that, send it on into Jack and let him know that it's a caption, and we'll talk about him at the end of the show.
I'd say
So.
sashay away. That's what I'd say. That'd be my caption.
And she keeps coming back.
Okay, one more time for the bustiers.
And then there's the bustiers. If you'd like to help us out, please use that Venmo at RJD Pro or go to amberlive.tv and look for the support Amber Live credit or support Amber Live button where you can use your credit card. And that does help us keep the lights on. So thank you to all our bustiers.
All right. Thank you, Russell. We'll have you back in a few minutes. All right.
All right.
All right. And our another Chicagoan is Owen Keehnen. Owen, come on in my basement.
Hi.
Hello there. Owen.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, my gosh. You have talked to a lot of famous people. Tell me, how did you get started doing what you do?
Well, I started interviewing people actually because I worked at a bookstore and we would host events. And what happened was whenever you host a live event at a store, you have to kind of anticipate what happens when people don't have great turnouts. So it started as basically like covering for an awkward moment and saying, I'm really interested to interview you for the local paper. And just sort of, that's when I first started doing it. And I found out it was a really wonderful way to learn a lot of different things. Excuse me.
Oh, so tell me who you've written for or some of your books.
Oh, well, I used to do, I've interviewed a lot of different people. I used to have a syndicate of gay papers do my stuff. But books, I've done a lot of history, a lot of Chicago LGBTQ history. I worked with Tracy Baim on a book about Chuck Renslow.
Who's Chuck
the founder? He was the founder of International Mr. Leather, co-owner of the Gold Coast. His lover was the erotic artist Etienne. He also was one of the founders of the Leather Archives in Chicago and Museum. And Tracy and I also did a book with Jim Flint, who is the longtime owner of the Baton and the Continental contests. And we also did one on Vernita Gray, who was a longtime Chicago activist. And I've done things on I did a book called Dugan's Bistro and the Legend of the Bearded Lady, which was all about the downtown gay disco scene in the 1970s in Chicago. But the thing that's really been getting me lately is I've been really focused on wanting to preserve sort of fragile history. And those are things that are really important to queer history, LGBTQ history, but they're not newsworthy. And that's like with the book I've just finished on these different performance pieces. Oh, thank you. That one. One of the first piece is Sirens of the Belmont Rocks. And the Belmont Rocks are a perfect example of that fragile history because it was this queer space in the middle of Chicago from the early 1960s until it was demolished in 2003, where people could just be out and be gay in the sun. It were these irregular limestone blocks that the LGBT community claimed as their own. And the reason I turned this into a play was because the topography of the Belmont Rocks is very much like a lot of different stages. So this is the green area by the Belmont Rocks. So what I wanted to do was make it a sort of staged version of Our Town with kind of different characters from the history, from LGBTQ history, gay men from, say, the 70s and the 80s, and so many who are lost, and just get up and express the importance of this place, because the importance of this place is all in people's memories. It's not like it's it never did anything newsworthy. It was photographed a lot, and it was also an important part of a lot of people's stories. But when those people go away, it's not left. And that was the thing that made me want to write about the gay disco scene in Chicago as well.
Okay, now talk about the Rock. Did you ever go to the Rocks?
Oh my God, yes. Yes,
I'd be disappointed if you hadn't.
No, it was a heady experience. It was when I first approached the Belmont Rocks, I tell you, it was like gaydar from outer space. It was so strong. You felt the strong. Well, you saw the pictures. You felt the strongest vibe. You're just like,
I felt it looking at the pictures.
Yes, and it was just such a huge part of the LGBTQ community. And this was in the days when all our bars still had blackened windows. We were being gay out in the sun, and the bonding and the sort of camaraderie, I think, that happened in Chicago because of someplace like the Belmont Rocks. I don't think the importance of that can really be overemphasized, you know?
No, I totally agree.
And that's one of the plays in the book.
And you know, every community of a certain size had someplace like that.
Yeah.
You know, here in
queer
Vermont,
space.
we used to have Shelburne Point. You know, that was the place that was isolated, and we could lay out there nude or have fun and in the woods, and we were free to do that. But
Is it
I think
still there now?
No, it's not.
Oh.
No.
See, that's the sad thing. And that's the sad thing, is that makes this, it was such an important part of your history. And that once it goes away, it's, unless something is done to sort of help keep that memory alive, younger LGBTQ people sort of lose that connection.
Oh,
and
you just took the words out of my mouth.
And I really think that's how you connect with youth, is just to show them like how did people have fun? Here's what they did to have sex. This is how they hung out. This is what they did. I think that is a really easy way for a younger person, or for anyone, to sort of put themselves in someone else's footsteps, shoes, you know? Yes.
Well, I've been accused by the younger generation. They said, you guys ruined it for us. You had so much fun. They outlawed everything. Yeah, okay.
So, and there's another play in the book too that's very Chicago-centered. I always wanted to write about Wanda Lust. And Wanda Lust was a very colorful Chicago drag queen in the 70s, and ended up performing all over town and doing shows, and then managing Man's Country, the music hall at Man's Country, the bathhouse, which is a big bathhouse in Chicago. Anyway, as Wanda became more famous, what she did was she took her celebrity and became Nurse Lust. That's what you saw in that last picture. And this is another one of Nurse Lust. But what she did was, in the dawn of gay men's health, and this is pre-AIDS, what she did was she would drive the VD van, and it was an STD mobile testing unit all around town, park it in the middle of big downtown areas, not downtown, gay bar areas, get the patrons to come out and get tested for STDs. And in the first weekend she did that, she got 1,000 people to get tested for STDs. And if you went with her to get your STD test, she gave you a cookie too. So Nurse Lust was, so anyway, Nurse Lust was really important to this, and then moved to Kansas City to manage the club baths down in Kansas City, and did the same thing there with gay men's health, except there she drove like one of those MASH Jeeps. That was the mobile testing unit there. And then Wanda tragically was murdered in 1980. But this is the sort of fragile history I mean. This story is incredible. And I really wanted to bring in the play presenting Wanda Lust, I really wanted to bring Wanda to life, because it's just such an incredible person and such an incredible giving, you know, because of her work actually with STD testing. When AIDS finally did come to Chicago, a lot of gay men's health, because of STDs, a lot of the infrastructure was set up. So Chicago had a lot of that in place, but it was because of unsung heroes like this.
All right, so the plays that you have in that book, have any been produced?
No. One of them is very much talking about it, and then, the last 2 years.
All right, I want to read them.
Yeah, I really hope I did the subjects justice. A lot of the problem is I want to write about so many things that I feel it's important to write about, that actually when COVID hit too, I worried that, you know, when with people passing away so quickly, you're just like, I'd hate to leave like a bunch of unfinished stuff, you know? So it was motivation to really write about things that I felt were important to be remembered. And that was sort of 3 of the 4 plays came out of that. Another play in here is about the pansy craze of the 1930 to 1933, which was a lot of fun. Anyway,
we'll have you back. We'll have you back to talk about that because it's fascinating stuff.
Oh, sure.
Owen, Russell, show his address one more time so people can look him up. There's OwenKeehnen.com. Fascinating. Google him. Go on Wikipedia. Oh my. Let's bring David Cerna back in and see if David's. Yep, there's David. Hello there.
Hi.
So earlier in the evening when we were talking, you guys have known each other over 25 years. Do you remember how you met?
Oh my goodness. I don't remember how we met, but I know we bonded probably at the Poseidon Adventure.
We're both big Poseidon Adventure fans.
Like crazy fans.
Yeah.
And we went to a convention in where the Queen Mary.
Long Beach. Yes. On the Queen Mary.
Yeah, and that's where I really got to know Owen better. I knew of him, and you know, like I said, I saw him at Unabridged bookstore where he worked. Yeah, that's how we really bonded, and then we discovered we had a lot of mutual friends.
Yeah,
and we just
that's great.
Yeah.
And we did clarify that the Unabridged bookstore was a legitimate bookstore.
Yes.
Still is, right? It's still open.
It still is
right?
legitimate.
Okay. All right. So, David, do you have any questions to ask of Owen from his appearance tonight?
Well, what was the hardest research for you to do? As far as like, I know you, like, what was that? Who was it hardest to find information? Because he always picks these subjects that are really underground.
You know what was something that was hard is I love doing the pansy craze, but it's hard to find stuff out about the pansies because so many of them were kind of underground, and there was that. Wanda Lust is also kind of difficult to find out about Wanda Lust before they were Wanda Lust, because Wanda Lust's real name is Stephen Jones. So it's...
I knew about, I moved to the city in 1980, and I was told all about Wanda Lust in 1980. I had worked with a friend who was friends with Wanda Lust and would tell me these stories, and I'm like, and Man's Country, oh my God, Man's Country is no longer, Man's Country was torn down, but it was one of the oldest bathhouses in the country.
Yeah, 40, it was in business for 45 years.
Yeah, it's going to be condos now.
It is, yeah.
That's sacred ground.
I know.
But I just appreciate Owen's documenting all this. Because Owen and I both, we talked about like the old gay bars where it was like, what Owen calls it, the Gin and Judy crowd.
The Gin and Judy's. I love the Gin and Judy.
Yeah, and like I grew up in Calumet City, and that's the bars I went to, and he in Peoria,
Rockford,
and just the little old gay bars, and out of the way. And
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember
So,
when
Owen, do you have a
saw-
question? Do you have a question for David?
Really, I love David's work is so much fun. And David, you capture camp like nobody's business. Camp and satire, and you do it. You keep it fresh so consistently. I want to know from a writer's point of view. I want to know your writing process.
My writing? Do I have one? Well,
yeah, I mean, do you like for doing, say, the drag seed? Did you watch the bad seed over and over writing it, or do you sort of disengage from it?
I started watching it just so I could parody certain scenes and everything, but it started with the idea, and sometimes I'll have a certain person in mind, and it just goes from there. And I always just try to make it, well, what would I want to see, and what I don't want to see is something that you expect. I try to make it really silly and ridiculous, but also have some, wait a minute, like we call it giving the dog a pill in the baloney. We wrap all this truth in baloney, and before you know it, you're like, oh, you learned something, or that was a point of view, or that was, I think good camp also really makes a statement about society or satire, and sort of it holds a mirror up to everybody. And I've had people, younger gays, what, you can't say that because, and I'm not like dismissing them, because I don't know about you, Chicago is a very woke city in the theater world.
Have you heard of Burlington, Vermont, home of Bernie Sanders?
Oh yeah. And so it's really interesting. The drag scene, what it does too is it's very old gay sensibility versus new sensibility, and Miss Charles kind of represents old school drag and that sort of thing.
Something else David does that I always personally love about your show is that it is not only camp, it is done as like an homage to camp. It's clearly you absolutely love everything you write about.
Oh yeah.
Like sometimes you watch stuff and you get the sense that the person doesn't really like, you know what I mean? David's is always this wonderful embrace.
Did I just freeze again?
Do what?
Oh, I just thought something happened. I just wondered if I froze again. Well, guys, thank you so much, David. Congratulations on going to New York. I hope to see you.
I hope to see you too, Amber.
And Owen, I can't wait to read your book.
I hope you enjoy it.
Please. All right. Well, thank you guys very much for coming to us from Chicago tonight. Thank you. What a wonderful guests. Oh my goodness. Yes, Google those guys. Fascinating histories. We'll have to have them back because there's a lot more to talk about. And you know who else wants to talk now? It's Rocco Zamboni. Rocco.
Actually, first, Amber, you may need to refresh again. You're blurry.
Oh.
I'm not sure what's going on tonight, but give it a quick refresh and we'll get Rocco in here to chat with you in just a second. We want everybody to see Amber in all her beauty. Much
there
better.
We go. All right, Rocco. Let me talk to Rocco. Rocco!
Hey, I'm busy. I'm trying to send a link to somebody, all right?
Now, this is a Chicago show.
Chicago, my ass.
Okay. Did you watch the football game Did you watch the football game this afternoon?
No, I don't watch football. The Jets have been home sleeping for months. Are you kidding me?
So what do you want to talk about tonight, Rocco?
I don't know. I got a few things to talk about. Number one.
Okay.
All right, you want a Chicago connection? Well, here's a little known fact. The Zamboni family actually used to live in Chicago. My grandmother is from Chicago. Now, she was a cow farmer. And she used to get drunk a lot, drunk on wine. And what are you going to do? And one night she was out berating a cow because this cow wouldn't give milk. And you don't do that to an Italian lady. She's saying, you give me some milk right now, or I'm going to smack you with this wooden spoon. So she did. She broke that wooden spoon right over that cow's head. And you know what that cow did? No. That cow kicked its legs and knocked over a lantern or something and set all of Chicago on fire. Now, I know you heard about the Chicago fire and blah, blah, blah. What you don't know, my grandmother freaked out because she burned down Chicago. She's like, blame it on O'Leary. That lady's a whore. So that's what happened. Mrs. O'Leary's cow is a myth. It didn't happen. It was Mama Zamboni. All right?
Oh, my God.
Truth's got to come out sometime, and here it is.
Oh, you know what, Rocco? People are commenting, and Shar from Sacramento says, does Rocco have a COVID shower curtain? And Larry from Florida says, oh, my God, you're right. So is that what that design is behind you? Is that COVID?
Oh, yeah, of course. I usually keep COVID on the curtain behind me. It's this way I know where it is.
Okay. Well, you've had it, so you know what it's like.
Exactly. It looks like this.
So what's number 2 on your list tonight?
Well, I want to talk about something, about somebody.
Okay.
All right, a dear friend of mine passed away today. Joe Dom.
I'm sorry, what was that? I missed that because one of us froze.
I must be drunk because you're blurry as hell. Anyway, a good friend of mine died today.
Oh.
Very upsetting. Played a lot of music with this man. A lot of good times. Joe Domjian, he was freaking amazing. Last person in the world you'd expect to go first. Not that he's first, but, he's young, man. He was a young guy. Very cool.
Well, Rocco,
even though he wasn't a wine person so much, he liked to dabble in the Mary Jane. Let's just say that. I'm going to have this toast to Joe Domjian. Joe?
To Joe.
Right on, brother.
Friends are very important and very valuable, and I'm happy to count you as a friend, Rocco.
Ditto.
All right.
It's like that's one thing. It was sad all day, but being here amongst you guys, my friends, my family, makes my heart feel much better. And thank you, everybody. He was a good guy. You would love his music. What an incredible guitar player! Holy crap! This guy could play.
What genre? What genre did he play? Or did
he played all sorts of stuff. He really liked like progressive rock, like Yes, King Crimson, that sort of stuff, Zappa. But in our band, what we played a lot of Motown and some Zeppelin and stuff. We played a gamut of stuff, and it was a lot of fun. We were called the Mixed Vegetables. I played saxophone, in case you're wondering. I still play sax.
Wow, how big a band was it?
We had 11 people in the band.
Oh my! That's phenomenal. An orchestra. That's an orchestra.
It was a good band, let me tell you. But we've been playing over the years too, Just until the pandemic, we stopped jamming, but
yeah. Well, Rocco, our thoughts are with you tonight, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks. I might go get a pan pizza now, why not?
All right. Thank you, Rocco.
All right. See you guys later.
Bye. Hey, Jack, come on in.
Hey, Amber. You're blurry as hell. Am I drunk?
Still? I look fine with you. Oh, my God. Hold on.
Hey, I'm taking over the show now. Hey, why don't you do the captions at some point? That would be a good use of time.
What would be?
I'm just saying I could do the captions while you're out of the room.
Yes.
So Russell, let's see that picture. We have some lovely young lady here.
I'd say person.
Hi there,
lovely person. Is being kind.
A A person who is trying some garments on, and people have
Yes.
some things to say, such as Shar, who says, "Careful, your jealousy is showing." We have Big J, who says, "Is this my good side?" Larry says, "How many drinks does it take to get like this?"
Probably not many that night.
Just a shot of rum chata. Cousin Greg says, "Don't call me trailer trash. I live in a mobile home." Char again, the original fair maiden form. Yeah, we got a model right there.
Yeah.
I've got some more. We have a lot of comments for this one, actually.
Oh.
Believe it or not, mobile to go.
Okay.
Johnny chimes in and says, "I feel pretty and witty and gay."
Two out of
This is
three.
from Gary Buck. I'm pretty sure this is for this. "I get my bras from Adam and Eve's along with my poppers and dildos," and the list goes on and on. Leah says, "The morning after you brought the most beautiful woman ever back to your shed after drinking on George Street."
That's the morning after.
Yeah, must be drinking Screech rum too.
It's a Screech, yes.
And I know I have a couple more here somewhere. A couple from Josh Pittman, if I can find them. Here they are. Striptease for one. My girlfriend took my shirt. Oh no, my shrit. I like that better.
Yeah.
And I've got one more for you. This one is from Jessica, who says, "Coming soon, out of a basement near you."
That was a basement. Wow, those comments came from Ohio, Florida, Vermont, California. Oh my goodness, great. Thank you so much. And Newfoundland, of course. All right, thank you, Jack. Hey, Russell,
Yes,
come on
and
in.
I have one more fun thing
Oh.
to add tonight. This is some fan mail that was sent in, and I don't know, it's lost now. Russell, did you see where I put that thing? Where I put that picture? Oh, we have so many folders here that could be anywhere. Oh, here it is. This is from Cindy Zook, who sent this in. This is the Zamboni room at the Vermont Catamounts locker.
Oh, yes, it's
So
some space
this
in the
must be
locker
where
room.
they keep Rocco in the off season.
The Zamboni room. All right. Okay. Oh, Russell, what a great show. Fascinating guests. Just
They were great
fascinating.
guests.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, I was smiling the whole show.
And the caption as well. I don't know what was going on. Who knows?
I don't know. The magic of live streaming.
Yes.
Right.
So, Russell, what do we have coming up next week?
Next week, we have two gentlemen coming on the show, and I have not met them yet, so I'm probably going to bastardize their names. AJ Cicotelli and Giancarlo Durland, who have one is the writer-director, and the other is a writer and star of a movie called Ripples of Water. So you will get to meet them and chat with them about their movie.
Oh, my goodness. That'll be interesting. All right.
We love the movies.
Well,
So you'll
all
have lots
right.
to
Very
talk about.
good. All right. So we'll
Yes.
see you next Sunday night. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great
Yes.
evening.
Yes.
And Jack, you moved me around here. Sorry.
Well, anyway, thank you for joining us tonight. Stay warm. Yes, especially if you're on your East Coast. Watch out for falling iguanas. And, still wear a mask. Yeah. I found I like wearing a mask here in the wintertime. Keeps my face warm. So you do the same. All right. We'll see you next week. I'm going to be here. Hope you will be too. Bye-bye.
Amber's really starting to grow on me. They make creams for that. Oh, thank goodness. I'm so itchy.